So in this video, we're going to talk about the Tartarians and the connection to Native Americans. So there's a lot of conspiracies out there that talk about a lost advanced civilization known as Tartary or the Grand Tartar. Tartaria. It has many names, but it's on old maps and it's in Asia, and a lot of people are trying to say that it's in the Americas, and in this video I'm going to show you where it actually is. But first, let's talk about the picture that I have behind me. It says this is a Tartarian or a hunting Indian inhabiting the inland parts of North America. Looks like my cousin from the res, y'all. But here is Tartaria. It's in Asia, like Siberia, Russia, China. And some even believe that the Wall of China was actually the Wall of Tartaria because the arrow holes face China. And there's the Wall of China. So it does make sense. It says Grand Tartaria, Tartaria or whatever, right? So I'm going to show you some depictions of Tartarians, and they wear a lot of turban. And some people say they were giants as well too. So here's some more, right? Another one. That's him standing next to an elephant, so he had to be pretty big. Man and a woman. And look at the Tartarian giants behind. So I live in Buffalo, right? And we got buildings like that all over the place. Some people say that this is Tartaria. So the connection between the Native Americans and the Tartarians is the turbans and some of the style that you would see with the southeastern part of the United States, of these tribes wearing turbans. So you got that big feather that the Tartarians would wear in their turban sticking out, usually in the front. Like the picture of George Washington and his slave. Some people say this was a Moor, or he was the leader actually and he was his slave. Here's a picture of my 6th great grandfather, Chief Corn Planter, wearing the feathers. It's not a turban, that's what we call a gustoat. It's a headdress that we'd wear. He's Seneca. But here's some other Native Americans wearing turbans. You see it a lot in the southeastern part of the United States. So I'm going to show you some depictions of Tartarians, and some of their hats look like some of the tribes over here, what they would wear. Even in Star Wars, you see the Tartarian symbolism with the Hopi buns and all that too. Down here, again, you see the Hopi buns. But here's the Tartarians. You see them putting feathers in their turban. Another depiction. And look how small that dude is next to him. Here's another Tartarian. This one looks white. But yeah, let me read this. The connection between Tartarians and Native Americans is a topic of pseudo-history, not mainstream history, which is often based on a conspiracy theory that the global Tartarian civilization was erased from history. So the connection between the Native Americans and the Tartarians, that people don't know where Native Americans come from. They think we came from Siberia. They think we came from the Hebrews. This is another theory, that we come from the Tartarians, and you can see a lot of their culture in our cultures, especially the way we would dress certain tribes. Not all one tribe, but all together. Like here's some more. You see a lot of Asian and Russian symbolism. This is supposed to be China, but Tartaria was represented by the dragon, and that's same with China, the red dragon. And even Russia today has a dragon on their flag. But the serpent worship in general in America and Asia is a huge connection. Here's some more depictions of Tartarians. And then in the voyage to Tartaria, in this book, you find all types of monsters and like wild men too. Like look at that guy, he's like a dog-headed man or something. Yeah, the real wild men, talking about savages. Here's a wild man going from a man all the way to a ape with a stick. Here's some more Tartarian giants. Now, where do they find the most giants in the world? Exactly. Here's some more Tartarian giants. So Native Americans are deeply connected to giants. We might be the last of the giant race. My tribe has one of the tallest living Native Americans. But here again, you got some Tartarians, some Asian looking ones. And when you see buildings like this is what they say, oh, this is the advanced civilization, that people couldn't build this in the 1800s with hammer and chisel, that it had to be some lost, technologically advanced civilization. But here's that depiction of a Tartarian again. I hear a lot of black people say they're the Tartarians, but they've just never depicted Tartarians being black or any advanced black civilization, to be honest. But yeah, they depict a Tartarian as a hunting Indian inhabiting the inland parts of North America. So what do y'all think about this? So the Grand Canyon, I've heard people say that the Grand Canyon was Tartarian buildings that got smelted, or they got melted, and that was a huge city. I've heard tribes talk about Asians coming in on horseback from the north, right? So that could be the Tartarians as well, but the Tartarians were known to be giants. Have like a mixture of culture, Russian, Middle Eastern, Asian, right? They're represented by a serpent, and there's a lot of serpent worship over here too. So there's a couple videos that talk about Native Americans descending from the Tartarians, the Hebrews, and all that. But just something for my indigenous relatives to take a look at.